Alright gang, welcome back to our Triple Threat Challenge here on Zabby. It is July, and July means that it is ready, or time, to harvest our canola field, which is fantastic because we're also going to be buying the oil mill today, which means all of this canola is going to be turned into canola oil versus just selling it outright. We're going to make a little bit more money with it that way. Very excited about that. And yeah, it's a great thing because that means we can now start doing poppy across the board, which we already, we already planted poppy in this field here, right? But we can now start doing it for every single field we have, which is fantastic. Still didn't buy any kind of a power washer or power sprayer. I should have did it there recently. Did not do it, but that's okay. We hopefully will get rid of this harvester soon enough for an upgrade. And once we start making all of the oils here that we're going to be making, it's going to be extremely helpful for us, hopefully, to make an upgrade here to the harvester to speed things up a little bit, because this is by far the slowest thing we have to do at this point is the harvester here. But it's been great for us. I can't really complain. The harvester's been a good workhorse for us, but it is time really very soon to make an upgrade at our harvester, to our harvester rather. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Things are pretty good, man. Things are pretty good. So we are in the process there, like I said, of doing the harvest. We need to buy the oil mill, so let's go ahead and do that. 240,000. It's going to leave us. It's going to put us down rather to 242. It's going to put us down to $2,531. Whew, it's hard for me to speak that evidently. So let's go ahead and buy that. We now own that, and yeah, we know how much the loan actually incurs. It's a decent amount, right? So we've got to make sure that we're getting. It's like 1,300, something like that. 1,100. We've got to make sure we have $1,166 at a bare minimum. Really, we probably want to have at least $2,000 in the bank account when you factor in, the maintenance and fees and things like that. So, yeah, we should be fine because we've got 3 contracts we can do in July as well, right? So we should be okay when we factor in those contracts. Obviously, we'll be perfectly fine once we start actually making some of the oil, but that's going to take a while. It's not going to be something we can put in there and sell today, more than likely. Maybe we'll get 1 pallet out of it, but really it's not going to be the best time to sell it today anyway, so you're not really going to want to. Contract-wise, there's a decent amount out here, right? There's a decent amount out here. We'll probably do the spelt contract, because why not? Why wouldn't we? Probably won't do this one, the spinach. The deadwood we'll probably do. Honestly, we'll probably do the fertilizing too. That's pretty good. We've done a lot of mowing lately, and speaking of mowing, our small little grass field we have, it's very small, is ready to mow today. So we've got that as well. Now, realistically, as much as I want to get this harvester, the next major thing we need to do with some of this money we're going to make from the harvesting the canola and turning it into canola oil, along with a little bit of sunflowers that we have in the silo there. Really, personally, what we need to do is start figuring out how we're going to do the TMR. I've talked about that at length already, but it's true. TMR is going to be upon us before we know it. They are getting relatively old. They're 6 months. We've got a little bit more time, really, before they are going to require TMR, right? But it's going to be coming quicker than you might think, right? So we're probably going to be at that stage here by the end of this harvest season. Well, I say this harvest season. By the end of this calendar year, for sure, at a bare minimum, we'll be really close to the TMR, I think. Needing the TMR, I should say. And really, we probably want it to be before that, right? We want to be able to have some ready to go and not just be the time when be the month when they do need the TMR and starting to work on it, right? That's not really going to be the most ideal situation for us. So definitely need to move that up the tier list here pretty quickly. It's really that and the harvester. Those are the 2 top tier things that I think we need right now. Obviously, another shed would be great. We've talked about that for a while. Haven't done anything with that, but really the money hasn't been there. I truly think the money will be there now, though, that we have the oil mill. I really do believe that. So we'll see. Now, I also noticed that this big, massive field here is ready to harvest today as well. It is canola. I don't think we'll get the contract for it. I would love to see the contract for it. I'm just being realistic with you. I don't expect to see that contract. If we do somehow get that contract, I think we will take it on. But if that contract does pop up and we're going to take it on, then we will be doing 2 episodes here in July. There's just no way I'll be able to do that massive field in 1 episode. Now, to be fair, they probably will have a pretty decent, harvester. that we can borrow. Take for a little bit of a loss, right? But we can borrow that, and that would help us out tremendously. Probably something we should consider doing realistically. But we'll see, right? We'll see. Other than that, things are overall okay. I think the greenhouse is nearly full with pea. Oh, we actually haven't turned them off. Oops. Well, we didn't make any overnight. I forgot we turned them off. There was no reason to have them on when we didn't have anything in there. Whoops. That was my mistake. That's all right. They're on now, so they'll be making some, and we'll move those out too. Probably once we, make a trip to the mill to drop off some of this canola. When we come back, we'll probably pick up the peas out of that greenhouse and drop them into the silo here. Just kill two birds with one stone, if you will, a little bit there, right? Just be very sufficient, I guess, when it comes to moving those. Instead of just going and moving them right now, we might as well do it in the same, when we're doing something else. Kill two birds with one stone approach, right? We're on the way back anyway. Might as well just take a pit stop there, pick those up, and bring them back to the silo, and then we can get started here on loading the harvester again from that point, right? Now, this harvester does need gas. It's starting to get to the point where it probably needs to be serviced as well. I'm going to do the best I can to hold off on doing that. Gas we're going to have to do, but the service. I'm going to try to do the best I can here to not have to do that. I'm going to turn the lines on here because it's going to get a little weird here. Just a little bit off the line there because we kind of had something that was growing a little bit further than it should have been. So that's the reason why we're missing that section there. But that's all right. We'll come back through. Not a big deal. All right, we can turn it back off now. I don't need them on. Perfect. So that's kind of the goal for today, right? And honestly, quick autosave here, but honestly, I'd like to get the other field mowed up. I might put a worker on doing that for us. This little tiny grass field here. Honestly, probably be good for us to do. That way we can kind of continue to bulk up the silage stick, the fermenter and dryer stick with more grass, right? We've got a pretty decent amount of grass in there, though, to be fair, but we're going to need more. Once those water buffalo get of age to start reproducing, and then when we buy more, we're going to need more anyway. We just went with a smaller amount for now, and obviously bought them as little calves or babies because really we didn't have a ton of money, and we wanted to try to save a little bit of money and let them just kind of reproduce and focus on some other things like the oil mill specifically, right? They're not making any milk yet, right? They're not doing anything crazy for us yet, with the exception of manure and slurry. They're not really doing much other than that. We've got plenty, I think, of everything else in there. Probably could move some more straw over, actually, at this point. There's only 6,534 liters of straw, so we probably could move some more of that over, but otherwise, I think they're fine. There's plenty of grass in there. They've got plenty of meadow grass for 25 of them. Tons of meadow grass. That pen holds the amount of water buffalo that we require, right? For this series. So a lot of you agreed about the point of maybe potentially buying this field and taking the grass field and kind of expanding it into this. A lot of you kind of agreed with that. It is probably something we will end up doing. Obviously, we don't have the money for that yet. It's very expensive, but at some point that's probably what we're going to do because we're going to need it, right? We've got a decent amount of grass and stuff right now, but we're going to need more when the water buffaloes start to really get their footing underway, and we've got a lot more going on, right? We're going to need a lot more to be able to feed them, so that's a future goal, if you will, a future milestone, if you will. Everything else otherwise is looking good. Growth is good on this field down here. This field down here is very close. This is the poppy seeds, so they'll be ready to harvest hopefully next month. This field's starting, and this field's still going good, right? So everything's still relatively good, all things considered. Now, as far as the canola goes, I'd honestly kind of like to keep this field as a canola field. This field specifically, will be like our standard canola field. That's what I'm hoping for. The reason why I'm saying I'd like to keep this field as a canola field is because, well, one, it's not one of the fields that we have to put poppy in. In other words, at the very beginning of the series, there's a link, there's a description down below if you get confused about something and you stumbled across this. But one of the threats is you had to randomize a crop that was on the map, and then whatever crop you got, you had to mark down every field that had that crop in it at that time, because obviously it could and will likely change whenever it comes time for you to buy it. It may not be the same crop. You have to buy those fields, right? We started with this field. It's not a field we had to purchase that was a part of the poppy. Now, you could have got lucky, and maybe you got, I don't know, maybe you got wheat or something. I remember it was in your spelt wheat, whatever, triticale, it was something like that. But maybe one of the starting fields was one of the fields you had to buy, and that just made it, you know, you got lucky there, right? But for us, that wasn't the case. For us, we had to buy 32. We have to buy 135, I think. Or maybe 134. It's one of these two. 63, 166, 176, and 100, I think. It's 99 or 100. Doesn't really matter. But regardless, we've got some other fields we still have not purchased yet that we need to purchase. And part of the rules and part of the goal there is that you have to at least drill your specific crop, in our case, poppy, and you have to harvest that same crop in each of those fields that you purchased, right? That are required at the very beginning, right? So that's part of the rules, and that rule also states that, you know, your random crop you got, you have to turn it into some kind of a byproduct. It's not just as simple as I seeded it, I planted it, I drilled it, and I harvested it, and game over, set, done, match. That's not the way it works. You've got to take that and then and then turn it into a byproduct, and it's not something where you can just buy a production and put it down. It has to be something that is standard on the map. So you have to buy that production on the map. And in this case, we bought the oil mill because poppy you can turn into poppy seed oil. So that's what we're doing. If hopefully that makes sense. If not, it's down below in the description. And you can always ask me questions and I will respond to you. I will admit, I can't get back to you as soon as you respond every day. Sometimes it takes me a couple days to get back to you, but I do read every single comment. I do respond to every single comment. Sometimes it just takes me a little bit longer, right? I'm human. I've got real life work, real life events and things that occur. So sometimes it takes me a little bit longer than the same day. So I apologize for that if it does take me longer to get back to you. But I will respond. I promise. I will respond. Now, the loan, we've got to worry about that too. I mean, it's July. We got a time here, right? But some of this money we make from the canola here, as much as I want to make the upgrade to the harvester, and that's truly something I'm planning to do, and as much as we need to, fit the TMR somehow into play, we also have to kind of call out the elephant in the room here. We've got a big loan. That loan could get worse, right? It's all randomized. We don't know what we're going to get. We could get a situation where it says, yes, you're allowed to pay off the loan. Or we could get a situation where it says, nope, you're not allowed to pay off the loan. And by the way, take out another $100,000. Which, great. I mean, it actually wouldn't be probably that big of a deal if we got that. That would probably help us be able to buy more fields, move other things along. Obviously, maybe get a different harvester if we're not making enough money off the canola oil and everything else, maybe that approach, but I think we will. But you get the point. If we're not making enough off of that, right, we can do that. But at the same time, I still want to, if it does say you can pay off the loan, we're not going to be able to pay off all of it, I can tell you that right now. But I would still like to pay off some of it, right? I'd like to drop that loan down a little bit. This year, I actually was hoping we did get the note stating that you have to pay out more of a loan, because I actually wanted it. But now I feel like, now that we got the mill, I know we got to buy these fields, and I know some of those fields are kind of expensive. I get that. But even so, even with all of that said, I still think right now I'd prefer to not get more of a loan. We probably will, because that's the way that our luck goes. But we've actually been relatively lucky, though, on this series, if I'm honest with you. Most of the stuff that I've wanted, I was able to get. The first year, we had to take out another $100,000. The second year, It said could not take out, or we could not pay off the loan, and we did not have to take another $100,000. So we just kind of stayed stagnant for that year. We made some upgrades, of course, but in regard to the loan, we stayed stagnant. And then this year, we had to take out another $100,000 loan. So, you know, when you're close to being done with the series, you may actually not be done with the series, because that randomized threat of the loan there is really going to play a pivotal role on when you can and cannot finish the series. You just need to make sure, if you're ready to finish the series, or if you're close to ready to finish the series, you really want to make sure you have enough money in the account so you can pay off your loan. Because if you have enough money in your account to pay off the loan, well, then that threat goes away, right? If you pay off the loan completely, the threat goes away. I put that trailer in the worst spot possible, but I'm glad I'm doing this now, because if I had the worker doing this, they would be like, there's something in my way. Now, normally more contracts pop out, and they already did, around 10 o'clock this morning, but more have already popped out. We've got a couple harvesting ones now, okay? So there's a spelt and a triticale. Well, that triticale one's very, very small. I'd love to see a larger one, to be honest with you, but, whatever. We'll figure it out, I guess. Maybe we'll get more by 10 o'clock. I mean, I will be still harvesting this for a while. Like, with this such a small harvester that we have and how slow it is, we're going to be doing this for a while. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all, but we're going to be doing it for a while nonetheless. We will be putting a worker on doing some of this for us. I will tell you that right now. We will be putting the worker on doing some of this. Once we get a full trailer load, the worker is going to take over for us on this. I am probably going to top off the gas on this before I put the worker on it. I don't want the worker running out of gas. The worker is going to take longer than we will. Now, to be fair, I don't think there'll be a point where the worker would run out before we're back here, but we do have to make a few other errands that I already talked about, right? We're going to stop and get the green beans, get the peas out of the greenhouse and bring them up to the silo, right? Honestly, I'd like to make 2 trips to the mill. We only have a small amount of sunflowers, but there are still some sunflowers in here, which honestly I would like to go and put those in there. I don't think it's going to give us a full load, unfortunately, of sunflower oil, but we can put it on auto selling, or maybe we'll get lucky and we get a contract at some point that has sunflowers that we are able to collect a little bit more, and we can throw it into the mill at that point, right? Or we buy a field, one of the fields maybe that we need to buy, and it has sunflowers on it, right? You never know. You never know what might happen there. So I still would like to move those over there, only, fully aware that we only have 1,000 of them right now. But, we'll see. We'll see how things move and how things go. So today, I'm doing this in the morning. Today we've got one of our niece's birthdays, and I like to play pranks on her. And we're going to play a prank on her today. We got her a gift, of course, but we're going to act like we didn't get her a gift. Well, the gift is going to be a picture of me. We're going to wrap multiple boxes. We're going to wrap one box, put my picture in it, and then wrap that box inside of another box, and then wrap that box inside of another box. So she's going to open up through one box, and then have to open up another box, and then have to open up another box, and then inside that box, all it is going to be a picture of me with a weird smirky face, which is what I like to do. She made a note, or made a comment to my wife, that she told my wife, you better keep an eye on him. You better not let him play any pranks on me. Well, now, that's a challenge now. So now I'm going to play a prank on her. So she's going to get just a picture of me is all she's going to get for her birthday, or her 5th birthday. All she's going to get is a picture of me. And then at the very end, she'll get her real gift, of course. But it's still going to be pretty funny. I'm really excited about it. I think she's going to lose her mind. Her facial expression, I can just see it right now. Oh, it's going to be glorious. We are almost full here again. We did have a little bit of hail damage in this field. You can kind of see it up there in the distance if you look close enough. We're going to be full here in just a second, and I think our trailer will probably be full at this point as well. So as soon as we get this full, we'll unload it, and then we're going to put this on a worker. Maybe I should go get the gas that I talked about. I don't know. We might be okay. We might be okay, but we're going to have to get some regardless when I come back or not. So I'll tell you what. Let's go and load it up here, and then we'll grab some gas, too. Well, you know what we got to do here, gang. I got to unload this. We're going to go and take this to the mill. We'll get the mill. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to turn it on right now before we do that. Let's go ahead and turn the canola oil on right now. But you can see we can make a lot, right? Flax oil, lavender oil. We can get all that stuff going if we really want to. Then rice and sunflower oil, of course. So anyway, we'll get this unloaded into the trailer. I'll get the worker started on this. Probably put a little bit of gas in the harvester, like I said. We'll go take that down to the mill, grab the peas, drop them off at the silo, and then we'll probably take over for the worker for whatever's remaining here on this field and get this done. Okay, we're nearly done with this contract. We're running out of money here. I spent a little bit too much on help here, on workers here, but that's all right. We'll make it back here quickly. And not going to be a big deal, in my opinion. So, nearly done with this contract field, though. This was a little bit larger than I actually expected. When I looked at it, I didn't think it was that big of a field, but it ended up being the case there. So, also got the grass field, I think, mowed. I think I just saw it pop up that the worker finished mowing the grass. Forgot about the bales sitting down there, so we picked those up, and now we're going to have some more to pick up, of course, but I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to do all of that in today's episode or not. We're actually getting a lot further into today's episode than I had initially thought or anticipated we would, but yeah, that's okay. We can do another one in July. It's not a huge deal. Should have known better with that big, massive field that it would, you know, take probably two episodes here, but... All right, let's see. How are we doing here? All right, well, we're going to stop him, and I'm probably just going to do the rest of it myself here. I bet this is full, though. It looks pretty full to me. It is. All right. And, yeah, the worker's done here, too. Okay. All right, cool. So we shouldn't, I mean, we're going to probably lose a little bit here when 10 o'clock rolls around, but we shouldn't really lose anything else for the rest of today's episode. We shouldn't, at least. The old MB track, although this is the larger MB track, so it is a little bit more... useful than the one I forced all of us to utilize in the competitive one tile challenge. We'll probably dip below 500 here once 10 o'clock hits. But that's alright. Like I said, we'll get all of this back. Now, as far as other contracts, I don't know if anything else has popped up or not. If it has, I would love to not turn this contract in until then. Not anything else for harvesting. It's still the same too. So yeah, we'll turn this in then once we go and drop all this off and sell it, of course. Now I might try to stop this and bring the spelt in and kind of hold on to that. Maybe we have a little bit. We don't have tons, but I might try to hold on to the spelt. I'm not quite sure though. It might be more beneficial for us now just to go ahead and sell it, even though it's absolutely a terrible price to sell at right now. Not 990. 6. Well, where are we going actually? Hold on a minute. Where are we taking this to? Okay, up here, and I don't remember which one this is called. The Browerex Grain Sales Point. I should have known that. 670. It's not the greatest. It's not the greatest. It might be in our benefit to, I think it... Oh, okay, never mind. No, we didn't lose any more. That's just the total. Okay, never mind. Good. I was about to be like, oh boy, we're in the red. Oh boy. We're okay. We're okay. All right, so I will meet you up there at the sell point. Let's go and sell this. And like I said, I'm probably gonna... I think I'm gonna hold on to a little bit of it. Yeah, I think I'll hold on to a little bit of it. Okay, we are finally pulling up here. It took us a while to get here, but we made it. So, whoops. Well, if I can actually turn properly. Yeah, let's just see. I don't know. I mean, there's not that much spelled in here, so it almost probably isn't even worth trying to stop it. Yeah, it's not even worth it. I'm just going to sell it. It's not even worth it. It gets us back into a little bit of a better spot there as well. So $1,509 is what we are at now before the contract was turned in. So we'll get a little bit back from that, which is great. No other harvesting contracts have popped up, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to go ahead and actually turn it in. It's only $900, unfortunately. The lease cost was astronomical. It was worse than I thought it was going to be. So that was a bit of a mistake on me. I probably shouldn't have taken that one on, but that's all right. This is a round bale. We don't have a round baler, so we're not going to do that. The deadwood one seems like an easy one to do. And I'm kind of thinking here that it may not be worth it for us to actually go ahead and do another... Well, I don't know. Maybe we should do a second episode here in July. Just the more I think about it, maybe we shouldn't, but... I mean, the canola, we can't re-drill it until next month anyway. Next month, we probably are going to have this field ready to harvest, maybe this field too. We can always use a worker, though, right? We can always use a worker for it, so I'm not quite sure if it makes sense or not. I mean, there's still a decent amount of this field to harvest still, too, right? So we'll do a second episode in July. I mean, I don't want to sit there and try to rush things, right? I don't want to rush anything through. And we've got the grass still to pick up, right? We've got to put fertilizer down on that field. We really should plow up this field of canola once it's done and get that set. There's still a lot to do, if I'm honest with you. So I think having all of that understanding, I think we'll do a second one here, because we still have 2 contracts we can do as well. And you never know. Maybe we'll get lucky and something else will pop up out there that's a little bit better for us money-wise. If not, of course, we can, you know, do stuff that we know for a fact we can do in there. The fertilizing one's decent. The deadwood one is really good, actually. And then there's a spraying one as well. So there's some options there. There's definitely some options there, but I think the spraying one, I don't think we have any herbicide right now. I think we put all of that into the greenhouse for that matter. Speaking of that greenhouse, I think I'm going to turn on one other one. It might slow it down a little bit, but that's okay. I think I'm going to turn another one on. I think I'm going to turn on spinach. So we're going to run spinach and peas out of the greenhouse now. That will help overall. Now, the peas themselves, in the time lapse, I'm sure you saw, I literally just put those into the silo. I could have went and sold those. There's our poppy oil, our poppy seed field, actually, by the way. It's the first time we've actually seen the poppies grow. That's pretty awesome to see, right? Anyway, the green beans I just put into the silo. We will sell those, but you know, we've got enough on our plate right now. Maybe we sell them next month, right? Maybe we do that then, or next episode even. But yeah, I feel like we had enough on our plate right now that I just didn't want to drive them back to sell them, so I just stored them in the silo for the time being. So we got a decent amount in the silo, though, right? We've got a decent amount still in there, right? There's the peas, there's straw, which we kind of going to put probably in for the water buffalo. Sunflowers, triticale, and spelt and sorghum. I mean, there's a close to 1,000 of each of those, or some of them have a little bit over 1,000, right? So it's not really worth a trip just to drive the 1,000 to go and sell until it's the absolute best time to sell them, of course. But you know, there's a decent amount of stuff in there. Now, I don't know where the pallets will spawn on this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bear with me for a minute here. I'm going to turn this on over here. That's where I thought it would be. Okay, so they're going to spawn right there. Now, one thing I would like to do, honestly, in this series is go ahead and buy an auto-load trailer for those pallets. I think that'll be super helpful. Now, the only negative point of that is that it's not going to work for the poppy. It'll work for the canola and the sunflower, and anything else for that matter that we can make oil out of normally. I don't think it's going to work for the poppy, because the poppy is you know, specific to this map. Same with the flax and the lavender oil, right? Same with there. Honestly, I'd like to do the flax and lavender oil at some point. I think that would be fun too. We've harvested the flax already. So maybe it isn't really that worth it now that I said that. Maybe I'm backpedaling here a little bit. Maybe it is not worth buying the auto load, since, you know, we know there's going to be some crops that are not base game, and so that auto load feature is not going to work for it, right? Which is it's a bit unfortunate that that doesn't work. Now, there is another way around it, I think. There's another mod that you can utilize where it basically is like a grate, and you put that grate below where the pallets spawn, and then it falls into the grate, and then you can use an auto-load trailer that is compatible with that grate, and then, you know, pick them up from there. So but I don't know for sure if it would work for these non-standardized crops either. I really don't know. I haven't tested that out. I don't know. Maybe somebody else does, but I haven't tested that out. So, but maybe that's something to try, right? Okay, let's get the harvester unloaded here. I think, yeah, we're going to do a second episode here in July. I've fully made the decision now. It's kind of back and forth on it, but I do think it makes sense. We've got a lot to do, right? We still have to harvest the rest of this field. I got to put fertilizer down on that grass field. We got to get all that grass picked up and baled. We really should plow this field up as well, just so we can have it prepped for next month and get the canola back in it immediately, because that's really my plan there, my goal there. So I really think it probably makes the most sense for us to go ahead and continue that approach and do another episode. And then we've got 2 other contracts that we can do, right? So there's still a lot to do, if I'm honest with you. And maybe we'll get lucky a little bit with the reset and maybe if we load back the game back up, maybe you'll get another contract or 2. I know that's happened in the past, but you never know. But yeah, let's do that. That gives us the opportunity at least to try to make sure we get everything we want accomplished and we're not rushing. In other words, we're not just doing Deadwood contracts just to speed things up there. We're actually doing the contracts that make the most sense. Maybe it is Deadwood, but having the opportunity or the options to do something else probably makes a little bit more sense. So with all of that said, gang, we will leave the episode here. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would greatly appreciate it if you smash the like and the subscribe button on the case you've yet to do so. They are free to do. It helps me out an absolute ton. Thanks to my members for all of their continued support. Many of you, multiple months, multiple years. I cannot thank you guys enough. If you want early access to videos like this one, there's a link down below. Check out my second channel. Check out the Discord. Check out the shop. There's a new shirt coming out very, very soon. As a matter of fact, by the time this releases, it should be coming out this weekend for, or maybe slightly earlier than that, for members, and then everyone else, it'll get released early September. So if that is of interest to you, let me know down below. Check out like I said, check out the links there to become a member. You'll get some perks as a member as well. You get extra percentage off in the shop, among numerous other things. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I'll see you next time.